402-614-9292 or on Facebook. It's American Senior Benefits Lincoln.
It's a brisk morning.
It is that.
It is a clear morning. And I think clarity is coming in more and more about the Nebraska football team. Yesterday was a loss, pounding. For those that say, Nebraska played hard, they played tough, I give you that. I'll listen to that. I'll entertain that conversation. But also, what I know is what I saw. And if Michigan wanted to put 70 or 80 on us, they easily could have.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they let up there as well. Why risk an injury? Why risk that when you know you got it in the bag?
Yeah, exactly. So, what we've learned yesterday versus what we knew. Learning yesterday, boy, we are a long ways from where any other Big Ten team is in the trenches. And I truly believe that whomever is next in charge next year for the 2023 season, there has got to be conviction and convincing to Trev Alberts that whoever they bring in for the strength and conditioning, that the number one priority is that offense and defensive line strength. Those trenches have got to get improved.
Isn't that sad, considering that was what made Nebraska for so many years, what made Nebraska be the national championships? They were the first one to just endorse that and to jump on the bandwagon and to realize the benefits of strength and conditioning. To get away from it shocks me.
It's unbelievable how far they've fallen down in that aspect. Constantly losing games that way. I mean, Michigan on a 3rd and 3 or a 3rd and 7, it didn't matter. They were going to run the ball right at us. And the blue wave was just pushing the red defensive line back.
Yeah.
Backpedaling. It was amazing. And then on the flip side, anytime Nebraska had the ball and they'd snap it, Michigan was 5 yards, defense line is 5 yards up the field at our quarterback. So lots to work on right there. They got a tough task ahead of them because it doesn't get any easier. You got two very physical teams, and that is one of the weaknesses right now for Nebraska. You got Wisconsin coming in next week at 11 a.m., who just lost to an Iowa team, which makes no sense at all. But I like I've been saying, I don't think the Big Ten West is that good this year at all.
It's been a show, that's for certain. But Iowa, excuse me, in Iowa's defense, they have been coming on the last couple of weeks. The quarterback actually put something together last week, a little bit more this week. It's surprising. There was even talk. It was funny, on, how things change. There was even talk of Iowa, having a chance at winning the West. So who knows? Nebraska certainly doesn't want to catch a team on that much of a hot streak right now.
No, not at all. And the three fighting for the Big Ten West right now is you can write these down. It's Iowa, Purdue, and Illinois. Which one of those teams instills fear in Michigan or Ohio State?
No, they might as well play a high school team. It's a 2-team show, that's for sure. It's the big two.
And when they get rid of divisions here in the Big Ten, that's gonna be much better because now you play the best two at the end of the season, which is what I want to get to. I want to get to that point. I want to get to the point where you don't have divisions because, good Lord, I mean, if you want to talk, if you're going to try to sell Nebraska on how to come to the Big Ten, why to come to the Big Ten, first of all, was the money. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they sell them as, well, you're going to be in the Big Ten West. The toughest opponent you're going to have will probably be Iowa, Wisconsin. With Nebraska said, okay, we'll go ahead and take that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's worked out the way they anticipated.
I'd say the opposite of that. We just had that discussion before we went on air of it's been a while. My question had been, when was the last bowl game, and had to think back, and all three of us had to scratch our heads and think back. And I don't think the Big Ten was what Nebraska expected. I remember them saying, oh, we're going to own this. We're going to roll this. Hasn't been the situation. But now this year, that being said, it would have taken a mammoth team to beat Michigan. I mean, they're a very strong team. Now, granted, should we have put up more than 3 points? Yeah, probably. But what a team.
And Michigan's really, really good. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this yesterday. They've been losing the first half. I think like the last 4 games prior to this one. But the biggest thing that Michigan does is their adjustments. They can see what they need to fix, and not only do they fix it, they execute at a high level. with those adjustments. And that's, I think, where Nebraska has to get back to, whichever coach comes in, because with Frost, the adjustments just weren't there. This here is where the assistant coaches you bring in, this is where you open up the checkbook and say, all right, let's get the best in here.
Yeah. And Nebraska's not afraid to pay coaches, so I don't think that'll be an issue. There's no money shortage at the University of Nebraska, but talking about being able to adjust on the fly and read the defense, that's something we've been talking about, like you said, more than just this year, but for sure this year. It I don't know if it's just an example. This is what we were taught this week. We're going to just play this, or I mean with the films there, the tapes there, just watch what happened on the previous set of downs and adjust. But you're exactly right. It's not happening at all.
What we learned versus what we know. I really would love to learn new things about this team. That would be exciting. I don't like knowing everything. I don't like saying, okay, it's game day. This is what's going to happen, A, B, C, and D. And then we know that's what happens. Yeah. The outcome is it's going to be still the same. So bringing somebody in here, whether it's Mickey and he brings in his own staff or somebody else, I don't care. Proven track record of success, but teach us Husker fans, teach us something we haven't seen for a while. Let us learn stuff new every week about our team and how much better they can get, how much better they can progress, and how much better they can go to the next step. We just don't like knowing everything, and I hate knowing everything. And about this team, you know everything.
Unfortunately, what you see is what you get, right? I'm afraid we talked a little bit about this before we went on air too. Is this was probably Mickey's pink slip. I mean, my opinion. That's all this is, the opinion of Todd Riley. But nobody expects him to beat a Michigan. Nobody. But could we compete? That'd be kind of nice. Could we throw up more than 3 points? Could we? I think you nailed it on the head there when you said we know what we have. And it's no different today than it was 5 games ago, than it was 3 seasons ago. We were kind of all hoping at least to see, like you said, something new, something fresh. It looks the same to me.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to give us a call early in the morning on Sunday, Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Moving forward with Nebraska, it's Casey Thompson. We have to have him. I mean, to have a legit chance, we have to have him. We learned yesterday that Chubba was probably the better option than Logan. Once again, Husker fans, we know more than the coaches do. So, for the last couple of weeks, pining for Logan Smothers. No offense to the kid. He might be injured. He might not. I don't know. But Chubba obviously showed with a full week of preparation, he was the better of the two. But there is just a tremendous drop-off from quarterback 1 to 2. And again, that has to go on the coaching staff. Not this one, but with Frost's coaching staff. A backup quarterback is essential. And when you have the transfer portal and you have kids that have experience, it's okay to bring in someone with experience to be your number 2.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. There's been teams over the years that have just focused on community colleges and D2s and 3s and found somebody that, I remember when I went to UNO and they still had a football team. That's how long ago that was. Thanks, Trev. But I digress. They would go to the community colleges and offer the kid, 2 more years of scholarship. Well, do the same concept here. What do you have to lose? Do some digging, do some research. Somebody's out there as a gem. Again, maybe not a starter, maybe not your starter against Michigan or Ohio State, but a real reliable backup. When something like this happens, you come in and you don't at least cost the game. You manage it to where if no other mistakes are made, maybe you got a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Now we talked about the negative, we talked about the boring, the bland, and everything else between. Positives from the game yesterday. There was very few, but was the effort there? Yes. Did some young guys look like they might have a good future here? Absolutely, yes. Ernest Hausman, the linebacker, had a good game. He showed his acceleration on that sack he had. Was that second quarter? Second, I think so. Yep. Where JJ rolls out to the left, and there's a 3rd down and 3, and he rolls out to the left, and it's a 5-yard sack for 4th and 8, which Hausman just showed his acceleration. So that was fun to see. Linebackers are missing Henrich.
Yeah.
We are. It'd be nice to have him, but pass rush, we had a couple sacks again. So for those of you going to McDonald's today, is the Big Mac sack. I got 2 or 3 of those, so that was worth it right there as well. But this offense, you have to throw it up for the run game. Unfortunately, it's not the opposite. And the only way you can run the ball is if you have a very established offensive line, a stud running back, and a scheme that's just in place. If you don't have that, you gotta have something. So the pass for us has to open up the run, but dinking and dunking and little 5-yard passes is just not going to get done.
Well, you said yourself, whether you're running or passing, when you have blue uniform back in the backfield before your running back is up to get the ball, even, what are you going to do? I mean, and Adrian Peterson couldn't run through that. I mean, that was, at least not very often. I mean, that was just unfortunately, where do you start? And I'm not familiar, maybe you are, I'm not real familiar with what the freshman and sophomore class at Nebraska looks like. Is there hope for the future, Jay?
There's always hope. The problem that Nebraska's had, and it goes back to Mike Riley, developing our players, developing the talent. We get the mold of clay here on campus. We're not creating sculptures with it. We're leaving it a mold of clay and assuming it's going to grow on its own. And that's where the biggest downfall for Nebraska has been, is their player development. They're getting talent in this program. I have no doubt about that. They're getting some top tier talent in this program. I have no doubt about that. But the coaches are not developing them to their full potential. And that's an indictment on the coaches right there. That's why I said, whatever assistant coaches you bring in here, open up that checkbook and make sure you get some of the very, very best. It's because it's kind of like what we do at our office. You know, we bring new people in all the time. They're wide-eyed, scared, moldy piece of clay, and we have to mold them to be successful. And if we don't, it's not their fault unless they're actually not trying or wanting it. It's our fault. And so the same thing with Nebraska coaches is you have these players that are here. Let's get the best out of them.
That's funny. I was actually just thinking that exact same analogy, Jay, because we've been very fortunate to hire some fantastic people. And what was I put on the board the other day? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I don't know if we are seeing that. I'm sure we're seeing it from some, but not all. And it might just be a case, you know, this at our office, we try so hard to have a positive outlook all the time and to set big goals and to reach for things. We just had a record breaking month. As you know, last month was our biggest ever. I think that's missing at Nebraska. You know, I'd like to go in the clubhouse with them. I'd like to go in the locker room with them and just see what is being said. I mean, and every day at practice, there should, you know, everybody knows the famous Notre Dame play like a champion today sign. Have something like that. Build something like that. People become what you expect them to become. And I'm afraid, and that works positive and negative. And I'm afraid for the last 3-4 coaches, the expectation has been on the negative side, and voila, they live out what they're expected of.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Well, they showed videos before of the coaches talking to players. And one thing I always look for is if I'm bought in, if I'm fully engaged, if I'm 100% on board and somebody's talking to me and I believe in them 100%, I'm looking at them in the eye when they're talking to me, whether in my face or 10 yards away. When you watch the video of these coaches talking to players, a lot of times you see heads down, you see looking elsewhere. It's like the 7-year-old playing in the grass in a baseball game, right? They're not fully engaged. When Nebraska and Mickey's starting to do that, but we still don't. There's still no culture at Nebraska. There's none.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to say we're tough. We want to say we're physical. No, we're not. We want to say we're championship, you know, tier 1 program. No, we're not. We were championship. We got away from that. So, like I said, when somebody comes in and you have 110 guys that when the coach is talking, everybody's looking at the coaches, no one's heads down, no one's looking around, then you'll see change in the culture because everybody's bought in. We're just not there yet.
I agree. And I think Nebraska fans have to remember too, you know, if you look in the stadium, it's an elderly stadium. We could hold a seminar in that stadium with American Senior Benefits. And that's great. Those people do remember when Nebraska was winning championships. They do remember the Big 8 championships. The kids playing today were not alive
No.
when that happened. Their their parents were in school still when all that happened. It doesn't just automatically transfer. We have a fantastic outlook and a fantastic goal setting and all that at our office, but we have to instill that to every new person that comes in. We have to treat everybody special. We have to build everybody up. This is the same thing. You can't rely on something that happened when these kids weren't alive. When you remember when you were 20 years old, a year seemed like a decade.
Mhm.
It's crazy now how fast time flies. I was thinking just this morning, something like a 20-year goal that I was thinking of in my head. And I'm like, holy cow, I'm gonna be 74 in 20 years. How did that happen? To these kids, 20 years might as well be 20 lifetimes. So you do have to install a whole new attitude. I would bring back, and I'm sure the trophy case is loaded. I'm sure all that. But again, these kids are looking at that like, my dad was in junior high when that happened. They're thinking, build something today. Don't say, and don't keep saying, well, back in the day we were such and such. Don't make that a negative, make it a positive.
Mhm.
And install, like you were just saying, install that winning mentality. Give them something to be proud of. Give them something, not the past, but say, hey, look, it can be done. Now you guys go do it. You guys be the next generation of great.
You know what solves all problems? Winning.
Yes, it does.
Just win,
Sale
baby.
cures anything, right, Jay?
Just win. Winning solves all problems. Todd Riley along with Jay Stoll, Rico behind the mic here at 93.7 The Ticket, American Senior Benefits Family Hour. Casey Thompson, like I said, we don't know the outlook. I think he's done. I do. If we're talking nerve damage again and having trouble gripping a ball, that comes and goes routinely. There's nothing you can do to get a good gauge on that. So moving forward, we don't know the extent of the injury with Chubba. So we have Logan and a walk-on from Norfolk, correct?
The two quarterbacks that they took yesterday were
Cynic, wasn't it?
Was Matt Masker, who's a walk-on from Kearney Catholic, and Jarrett Cynic, who's a walk-on from Hastings.
Oh, Hastings, right. Let's go.
They have Heinrich Harburg, the scholarship quarterback from Kearney Catholic. They have Richard Torres, a scholarship quarterback from Texas. And then a bunch of walk-ons, yeah.
I'm going to do Nebraska's recruiting for him. Anybody out there watching on YouTube, listening to us on the radio, if you're a good quarterback and you'd like to play, hey, guess where next year would be a really good landing spot for you?
that would be come on aboard. That would be great.
I can do it.
That would be great. So, all right. So we have Harburg, who don't know if he's going to be a quarterback. Boy, he'd make an excellent tight end, a flex, big old wide receiver. But if he wants to play quarterback, I don't know if this is the school for him because he's way down on the depth chart. Torres has got a rocket arm, which is great. But if there's still continually no time to throw the ball, he's a sitting duck. And he's coming off his knee injury, so that's not going to happen anytime this year. So we have dear old Nebraska U walk-ons. Let's go.
Next man up, right? And you hear that from the great teams. Unfortunately, that we haven't seen that here. The next man up has not normally produced, but then sometimes the first man up hasn't exactly produced either. But again, it's when the rest of the state, I've been fortunate to live in 7 or 8 different states. The intensity of the fans here, the want of the fans here. I would think if you're a kid from Nebraska, you grew up in North Platte, you grew up in Scottsbluff, you grew up in Omaha, you grew up in Lincoln. You listen to your parents talking about the old days. You listen to your grandparents talking about the old days. That should be a heck of a motivation. But anything becomes a habit, Jay, as you know, good or bad. It takes 21 days to change a habit. I'm afraid the habit has become, here we let my parents down again. Oh, we let our grandparents down again because we're not as good as we were. Again, I think it seriously starts with attitude more than anything else at this point, and then build from there.
They're not used to winning.
Right.
Again, winning solves all. If you're not used to it, you don't know how to grow off it, accept it, move on, and appreciate it more than anything. It's almost like a surprise birthday party. Hey, great. Now we wait another year for next one. You know? Anthony Grant. I was thinking about this. Rico, does he go pro? I'm going to tell you why as well. There's great tape on
I think
him.
he has another year.
Do you think he wants to? Will he go? He might be a 5th or 6th round pick. Let's say that. There's good tape on him.
I don't think he does unless he does want to take a chance on himself. Him and Casey can come back another. The thing is, a lot of the offense and the defense can come back next year.
Mhm.
It just depends on if they want to or not.
And who the coaches won back as well.
Yeah, so you've got a big contingent of the team that can come back, and that would befit the Husker football program, despite whoever the coach is. Just because in the Big Ten, we always talk about it. You want to get old and stay old, and having guys with an entire year of experience would be really nice to have come back.
That would be great. My thought is if you're a Trey Palmer, if you're an Anthony Grant, if you have NFL potential and ability, do you want to come back for a year of rebuilding where you can lose that momentum, or
injured?
or the fact that there's good game tape on you showing that there is a lackluster offensive line and there is lackluster around you, but still able to put up some monster games? The NFL goes off potential.
Yeah.
They want potential. It's like the NBA, right? NBA is going to take a 16-year-old and put him in the G League now.
Right.
That's something they got to look at.
Well, I would sure get it too if I was that kid and I got a 3rd, 4th round shot. Like I said, what if I don't like this next coach? What if I'm healthy today? I haven't had a serious injury. It'd be tough to talk me into sticking around.
Mhm.
I mean, I think when the coaching decision's made, that person's going to have to land with both feet running already.
Yeah.
And build on that, because as Rico just said, the experience that you bring, you don't think about. But how would you like to, Rico or Jay, to be a freshman kid from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and walk into the Michigan Stadium, walk into the Ohio State Stadium and see that? You can't tell me that's not intimidating. I mean, you've been to the Nebraska games, but it's a friendly crowd. You go to Michigan, you see the thousands and tens of thousands of people not for you. Man, maybe the biggest high school game you played had 200 people at it. It would be a mind blower. So to be able to keep some experience, just say, okay, here's what's going to happen, bud. When you get into the stadium, they're going to say this and they're going to do that. And the Iowa visitors locker room is pink and things like that, just to give them a heads up.
Oh gosh. Yeah. And well, I did notice the separated Nebraska Michigan team from the tunnel as well.
Yeah.
Didn't let them intergate with each other.
That's probably wise universally, I think.
So there has been some talk of the next coach, right? We discussed that a little bit. Where are you guys leaning towards? Rico, I mean, I've heard you on stage before. This first time working with you here, which was an honor, dude. What are we leaning towards? Are we leaning towards staying with what we got and bringing in surrounding supporting cast, or just dumping the ship and starting all over again?
Depends on who you've got in the wings waiting, or who you've decided to hire, who has said yes. Because I mean, I think Mickey Joseph can get the job done. I think he's done a really good job of galvanizing the team and getting everybody to be prepared on game days. It's just, he was given chicken bleep and asked to make chicken salad. So it's a little harder to do that. But I think if, he can build on the momentum that he has going right now with recruiting and commitments and everything, despite having such a bad season, then he can make something happen. And I know for a fact that he's the kind of guy who knows that he's not the most knowledgeable person about everything. So he will bring in people and surround himself with people who know more than he does. And that's great to say, because he's been coaching for 20 plus years, but he knows himself that there are things that he doesn't know about the game, or things that people know a little bit better than him about the game. And he's smart enough to know that he needs to surround himself with more talented people than he. And that would go a long way in keeping this, or getting this Husker program back on track.
That was my sentiment exactly. I think Mickey is excellent. I think he needs a head coach advocate just to kind of help him out, someone that's been there before. Bring in somebody that is a senior to him that can help groom him while he maintains this position. Worked very well for Michigan. It's worked very well for Clemson. Texas, if Sarkisian would actually listen to Gary Patterson, I think would be a little more successful. But yeah, I think that'd be the ultimate way to go right there, is if you keep Mick, right, and that's my choice, but you bring in somebody more experienced, like a Gary Patterson, or somebody else that has about 2 or 3 or 4 years left, that wants to not take the full reins, but just groom a younger guy.
I think it's going to be dump and flush, guys. That's my opinion. I think, and that's not an insult to anybody. I just think that's what's going to happen. I think, coaches are funny. They just keep swirling around and they pop up in a new area. And I think Mickey's proven himself enough that he might get a heck of a job somewhere else. Maybe not up quite on this level yet, but look at like a Deion Sanders that has taken over a monster team. What a funny rumor he was coming here too, right?
Yeah, he would love the Midwest cold.
Yeah.
And everything the Midwest has to offer that is not down the South. He'd love that.
I just think the next person that gets Mickey is going to be a fortunate team.
Yep.
And I think he'll be fortunate to go to land in that spot. I don't, and obviously I could be wrong. We're all experts today, right? When we're not the person.
That's how that works. We've got a phone call. Do you guys want to take a break and then come back to the phone call?
Perfect.
Sure.
Okay. You want to send it to break?
Yep.
This is the American Senior Benefits Family Hour alongside Todd Riley. I'm Jay Stoll Rico. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are rocking in Louisville. We've got transport showing up every day with loads of new inventory, lots of new trucks, SUVs, and crossovers. Our pre-owned inventory is also filling up fast. Our GMC Terrain inventory is really filling up fast, so we're putting special pricing on those right now. This is the time to check out our GMC Terrains, as we've got all models with a great selection of colors at a discounted price. So please stop in or check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This is Todd Riley with American Senior Benefits. If you qualify for Medicare, then you're probably getting bombarded with information right now about different options during the annual election period. It can all be incredibly overwhelming. We're here to help. The experts at American Senior Benefits can help you navigate all of your options and make the best decision for you. You can reach out via our Facebook page, American Senior Benefits Lincoln, or call me directly at 402-413-9510. Let us help you make an informed decision at American Senior Benefits.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
It's not his job to find the guy that's most exciting to the fan base and that the fan base is going to sign off on. That's something that he should consider in the mix. But if he believes that if Trev Alberts believes that Mickey is the best coach, do you still hire him at 3-9? That's the question, right?
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. For November, they have tons of fall seasonals, and you can check out their Oscar Blues, Nebraska Brewing Company, and Broken Bat Brewing Company selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the American Senior Benefits Family Hour. Alongside Todd Riley, I'm Jay Stoll. We have Rico rocking the mic. We got some DJ action going on. I like this, Rico, man. Wake up Sunday. A little bit of music right there. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Todd, we have somebody that wants to talk to us. Who we got?
We have Matthew and Hickman. What you got, Matthew?
And Matthew's gone.
Well,
Oh,
Matthew.
I guess he couldn't hold on for that long.
That's all right. It happens. I get
Must
it.
had too much coffee this morning.
Not a problem. Not a
Couldn't
problem
wait.
at all.
Call back, Matthew.
Call back, Matt.
Give us a call back, Matthew,
Should I call
at
you, Matt?
402-464-5685. We'll talk Husker Pass. I have no problem about that. I lived it. I enjoyed it. I weathered in it, and I miss it dearly. I'm one of those folks that do that. Todd, we're going to transition now a little bit. All right. This is more what we do, helping people out. Again, it's that time of the year. It's the confusing year. It's AEP. This is where you're getting all those letters, the phone calls. You're getting the what the heck's and the what is this. Quickly let folks know what they can do when they get those letters. What do they mean? What is AEP all about? And how the heck can they stop the phone calls?
Boy, I tell you what, I do feel for people this time of year. We talk to people that we serve, and they literally 30 to 40 calls a day. That's just unbelievable, and it's a lot. It really is a son of a gun. We can help them get some of those cut down if they need us to when they give us a call or go to our website. But yes, it's annual election period from October 15th to December 7th. What can they do then? They can make changes to their drug plan, which is a really good idea because your supplements, which I'll get into more in a second, are standardized. Your Medicare Advantages can change a little bit, but your drug plan can change night and day. The cost can go up. They can add drugs. They can drop drugs. They can raise the tiers on drugs. They can lower the tiers. It's really a good idea to give us a call in usually less than 10 minutes. We can tell somebody, hey, you could save a bunch more here. You could save a bunch more there.
So that's one of the services that we provide, which is excellent. What about when you have somebody say it, they're 66, 67, 68 years old, and they're still working, and they look at their group insurance versus going on Medicare? What advice can you help with that? And what advice do you have for folks?
That's a great question, Jay. As you know, I've done this 31 years, so I've been doing it a long time. Back, the first 20 of those for sure, if not 25 years, we wouldn't even have to ask where they retired from. If we just got to their home and they said, or they called us, whatever, and they said, oh, I have group insurance, we would just thank them for their time, see how they were doing on like their final expenses or something like that, and say, tell them they're better off where they were. That's changed dramatically. for various reasons. But now, about probably, at least from my personal experience, I bet 75% of the time people are better off on Medicare and a Medicare plan, an individual Medicare plan, than they are in their group insurance, believe it or not, once they're retired.
Why is that? What can Medicare give them that their group insurance does not?
A lot of the group insurance, the big one is cost. The cost has gone up so dramatically for people on their group insurance. Also, the deductibles go up, especially a lot of them now have the high deductible plans. They can eliminate, in cases, they can eliminate co-payments. There's plans out there that have a small, roughly $225 deductible once a year. And then after that, absolutely nothing else comes out of their pocket for doctor and hospital, versus, most of their group insurance, they've got to hit like maybe $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 before it all gets paid. So 225 looks a whole lot better than 7,000.
Now, do they have to start the Social Security if they go on Medicare, or can they stay working and get a paycheck from their work? How's that work?
That's a nice thing too. With Social Security, you can defer that, well, technically forever. But if you're still working, you can still draw Medicare, still get Medicare, excuse me. They just, instead of taking the premium right out of their Social Security, they just send them a bill for it, like a water bill or a light bill, and still have Medicare.
And then the Medicare, what is the bill for that in 2023?
2023, it's going to be roughly 164, down a little bit, which in my 31 years, I don't ever remember it going down. So that's pretty cool. So there's 164. Some of these Medicare Advantage plans are zero premium, believe it or not, which we can explain that. I know sometimes it sounds too good to be true, but even on a supplement end, if they say, hey, I want to go to whatever doctor I want to go to, I don't want the copays. Again, depending on their age, male, female, but you're looking at maybe $100 a month for that. So for less than $300, you've got, again, in essence, no co-payments, a very small deductible, got your drugs covered at a low co-payment. They're probably, quite honestly, paying $400 or $500 for their group insurance. Another big thing that we run into a lot is if maybe just one of the spouses is working and the other one has retired. Yet the company will charge the working person a family rate, which again might be $400 or $500. But if it's a single person, the single person's rate might literally be $50 or $75 a month. So in those situations, it makes all the sense in the world for the spouse that's not working to take a look at Medicare. Usually end up saving a couple $100 a month for noticeably better coverage.
So if someone wants to go on Medicare, is it really easy to do? Can they just pick up the phone and dial, or is there any better options, or how do you get on Medicare?
In theory, yes, you can pick up the phone and dial. If you like to press 1 and 2, and if you like to wait for English, and if you like all that kind of stuff, or you can give us a call. We'll be glad to help them with that through the website, through the phone. We'll help them navigate all that. We obviously don't work for Social Security, but we've done this for so long, we can certainly help them.
So we'll help them sign up for their Part B, sit down, look at is Social Security wise to take out now or stay on your group, projection of Social Security, what they can get paid in the future, put plans in place. Correct? We do all that.
That's a beautiful thing that we do is we have Social Security experts in our office that will say, so many people they either take Social Security at 62 because that's the earliest they can, or when their retirement age is the max, which is 66 and a half, or whatever it's going to be, they just think they have to take it at that time. And by no means do they have to. Sometimes it makes all the sense in the world to wait till 68 or 70. It's surprising to the people that I see now they're drawing off of their spouse's Social Security for a couple years and then kick in their own. And those are things that most people aren't aware of. Sadly, there's not a Social Security class that's given at the library or something like that. Maybe that's something we should do, Jay. Now I think I'm on to something here, guys. But we can sit down and help people with that. Just give us a call, 402-614-9292, or on Facebook, American Senior Benefits Lincoln, and we'll schedule a time with one of our Social Security experts just to see, okay, hey, delay for a couple years, or hey, draw, and husbands off of wives has become a lot more of a common thing for Social Security. And there's a reason that makes sense a lot of times. And when you figure life expectancy now is roughly 80 for men and women, a little bit more for women, but we can be talking thousands of dollars by the time this is done by just taking 15, 20 minutes with one of our experts and saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Again, at the end of your life, 80, 82, whatever you make it to, there's tens of thousands, sometimes more dollars in your pocket by taking that 20 minutes.
Yep, exactly. Todd Riley, Jay Stoll, along with Rico here on the American Senior Benefits Family Hour, getting into more in-depth, moving on from working to Medicare or activating Social Security. Also, Todd, when you leave your job and you want to get on to Medicare, you got to do something with your 401k. What are options to do with your 401k?
Boy, and that's a real question in a lot of people's minds right now is, holy smokes, what do I do? Market's down 20%, bonds are down. Rarely are stocks and bonds down the same year. We're just real fortunate this year to witness both of those. And there are safe alternatives. And one thing we hear too, and we're not recommending any company, we're not, recommending this or that, and there's losses potential to everything, but there are options out there where people can put floors under what they're losing, stop the hemorrhaging, if you will, and yet when market comes back around, they'll be able to take advantage of that gain. Because a fear that I hear from people a lot, and I get it, is, well, they always say don't sell low. Unfortunately, most people buy high and sell low, and they're afraid to sell low right now, which I get. But if you can put a stop on it and still get a chunk of that gain when it comes back, then you're talking something that makes sense. So again, we have experts that will help you with that also.
Todd Riley, Jay Stoll, dropping nuggets on you. Rico behind the program here, American Senior Benefits Family Hour. We'll be right back after this.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at freedmanlaw.com today.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great.
Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the American Senior Benefits Family Hour alongside Todd Riley. I am Jay Stoll. Rico is behind the machine right now. Honda Lincoln Hotline, 402-464-5685 if you want to call in. Todd, at our office right now, we just opened it up. It's great. We're doing hiring because we know that there's been lots of layoffs lately. If someone wants to come aboard, this is the time to do it right now. Why would it be great to do it now before the first of the year?
Now's a fantastic time. Actually, we can get you going, get you licensed, get the basics underneath you, so a person can hit the first of the year running. We don't have to wait till the first year to get you started. We can still work you in before that, but the timing is very good. Use this time of the holidays to do your studying, which we help you with that too. Speaking of studying, there's a course that we sign our new people up for. Normally it would cost them about $300, but we cover the cost of that, walks them right through the tests that they have to have here in Nebraska, the life, accident, and health test. We help them through all that. Again, we pay for that training. They could have that completed. They could get some of the basics down. We could have our boot camp, as we call it, in them. And first of the year, man, their new career takes off.
Now, in our industry, in our company, there's good days, there's bad days, just like everything else you do, right? Everything else you do, there's good days, there's bad days. Give me an example of not the best day in our industry. What would that look like?
Well, in any sales, you're going to be told no more than you're told yes. That's just a fact. You have to not take it personal. And I always thought back in my head, if some old guy was mean to me at the door or mean to me on the phone, I always thought, if I met that guy downtown, we'd probably get along great. He'd probably buy me a beer or something. It's just, we don't know what befell that guy seconds before we stopped at their house or gave him a phone call. So you just can't take the no's personally. But like you said, Jay, great day. I drive around and it's a 105-degree day and somebody's up on a roof, or it's a 5 below day and somebody's working road crew. And I think, gosh, the worst that happened to me today is somebody told me no.
Now I want, what is a really good day in our industry?
Really good day is $5,000 or $6,000 in your pocket.
On a day.
On a day.
Not the week, not the month, but a day. Is that possible?
It's possible every day. Especially when you're new, I would say the biggest sale could be the next house you go to, but it is definitely, I see every day in my office, one of the agents just put $2,000 in their pocket, $4,000 in their pocket, $6,000 in their pocket. It's amazing.
Now, for me this week, a personal story happened that was excellent, that made it amazing. Unfortunately, one of my clients for the last couple of years was 20 years cancer-free, and the anniversary is coming up. And so 2 years ago, she got involved with a cancer policy, just because if it reared its ugly head, especially on Medicare, there's certain things that Medicare won't cover for cancer. And so she did not want to have that large out of pocket. And she called me up and told me that, she had a double mastectomy, and she was in good spirits and in humor spirits, right? But she was down. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, I'd like to come visit you. And she said, "Oh, I'm not feeling like it, Jay, and I'm feeling really bad." I'm like, "You know what? Let me just visit you. I want to bring you some donuts. I want to do something nice for you." She's like, "Okay, if we just have a laugh, that's all I want to do." She's like, "Okay, Jay, come on over." And I did, and we're laughing and we're talking. And I said, "Just so you know, the real reason I came here is I need you to sign this paper." She's like, "Well, why is that?" "Because this is $10,000 I'm going to give you." And she said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to give you $10,000 today."
Nice.
And she said, "Well, how is that possible?" I said, "Because 2 years ago, you entrusted me to help you out and put the best plan of action forward for you. And this is why it pays off, because you were paying $32 a month. All right. You've invested over $700 and you're going to get $10,000 back." Wow. So she signed that claim form, cried, right?
Yeah.
Literally tears coming out, big old hug, right? Yeah. And that's the difference for me in this industry, being here for almost 3 years now, is seeing that. And then when I show new people that are riding with me, I give them that experience. So to have somebody who the chaos has hit and it's their darkest days, like I've always said, then we show up and do our job, what we've been doing for the longest time. So to give her that $10,000, and now she can go and pay for those oral chemotherapy pills she's going to have to take.
Right.
Because she didn't have the money for that.
Right.
So now that's covered for her. So just world changing. That's why I love doing this. What about you? You got any good success stories this week?
Oh man, there's so many. I've been so blessed in this career, and that's what is cool when people. We've had people from all backgrounds do this. Nurses do wellness, teachers do wellness, because they have that caring want. And unfortunately, especially on the teacher end, the pay is not there. So if they can and still see, like your story right there, lady just is going to very shortly going to get a check for $10,000. She can have now whatever treatment she wants to. Her odds of survival and success, just who knows? I don't know. Did they double? Did they triple? And you did that. That's really cool. She would have never probably thought to give somebody a call and ask for that. That's why we have the best training in the industry. That's why we have mentors in our business to take new agents out with them, is so we can help the people when that time comes. And we always say, we can't stop a bad thing from happening, obviously, unfortunately, but we can sure make that transition better. I've said on the radio here where we've had people run up over $1 million in doctor and hospital bills and cost them nothing out of their pocket. We've had them have 10 months of home care that came to $60,000, cost them nothing. 3 years in a nursing home that came to $250,000 and cost them nothing. So yes, there's success stories every day. It's neat. Every Friday we have an office meeting, and almost every Friday one of the agents has a story just like yours, Jay, where they did something that helped the people. The people called, they were in tears. They were so happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's great to make a fantastic living here, but to be able to make that kind of a living helping people, that's really, really cool.
That's one of the best parts right there. Now, transitioning, you're a Vikings fan.
I am.
I'm a Bills fan. Today, after we leave here, I don't know you. You don't know me, because the Vikings and Bills are playing each other. That's just how we're going to play it. Josh Allen's going to play. I'm furious about that. Yes, I trust my training staff, but also I have medical knowledge as well. And when you're messing with a UCL, sprain or strain, that means there's tears or striations in that area. All it takes is one little sidearm throw of getting the elbow involved, and it can snap and you're done for the season. So I'm hoping that Case Keenum is the go guy today. I'm hoping Josh Allen's just a backup if they need him, but we'll wait and see what happens there.
I've been pretty up on the Vikings all year. This game, I will say, I'm more concerned about. But real quick before the break, too, if you want to be part of our team, whether it's wearing blue or whether it's wearing purple or red or whatever you want to, our recruiter is Joyce Ann. Get a hold of Joyce Ann at 402-413-9846. We'll be glad to help you.
You can find us on Facebook at American Senior Benefits Lincoln on Facebook. Rico, you're a New England Patriots fan. Nobody faults you for that whatsoever.
I do a little bit.
I started following football in 2000, and that's when they were good. And I was like, hey, it's a good team. I'm going to go with them.
Unfortunately, the Patriots have been my daddy since 2000. So once Tom Brady left, life got better. But who the Patriots got this week?
I actually have no idea.
All right.
I haven't been paying attention at all, just because it's Mac Jones, it's Bailey Zappi. It's a bad season, but it's a good season at the same time. I don't know. Maybe they have a bye week. I have no idea what's going on in New England.
You are a father. You got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, correct?
Yes.
So I can understand where your time is going. Todd Riley, Jay Stoll, Rico, American Senior Benefits Family Hour. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for